Welcome back to Horizon Resonance. It's great to see you again. And as always, I wish you an enjoyable watch, and for those tuning in over dinner, a good appetite. Motorsport is full of legendary circuits. Monza, Spa, Le Mans, Nürburgring. These names echo like cathedrals of speed. But not every track gets to live forever. Some are abandoned, some are bulldozed, and some simply vanish, erased from calendars and memory until only whispers remain. Tonight's story is about one of those places, a racing circuit that rose to fame, hosted unforgettable battles, and then disappeared so completely that many began to wonder if it had ever existed at all. This is the legend of the circuit that disappeared. It began with ambition. In the late 1960s, racing fever swept across the globe. Every nation wanted its own grand stage, a track that could put them on the motorsport map. Investors, governments, and local communities poured money into concrete and asphalt, building monuments to speed. The circuit in our story was no different. Designed by an ambitious engineer with dreams of challenging the best, it combined long straights, brutal corners, and dramatic elevation changes. A place where only the brave could win. When it opened, fans flocked in the tens of thousands. The grandstands were crude, but the atmosphere was electric. Drivers compared the first laps to dancing on a knife's edge. The track rewarded courage, punished hesitation, and quickly gained a reputation. Beautiful, terrifying, unforgettable. During its early years, the circuit delivered chaos and drama. Lap records were smashed. Cars flew down the straights at speeds that tested their limits. Crowds roared as underdogs took victories. It wasn't just a racetrack. It was theater, a coliseum of rubber and steel. Legends were born here. Some drivers claimed their finest victories on this asphalt. Others admitted it terrified them, a place where even the smallest mistake meant disaster. Journalists called it the Wild One. Fans traveled from far away just to stand at certain corners, watching brave souls attack turns that looked impossible. It was dangerous, yes, but danger was part of the thrill. But glory has shadows. As cars grew faster and technology evolved, the circuit struggled to keep up. Safety barriers were primitive. Runoff zones were almost non-existent. Crashes were violent and often fatal. By the mid-1970s, whispers began. The circuit was too dangerous for modern racing. Teams complained, drivers protested, and insurance companies raised costs. Then came the politics. Local authorities, once proud of their jewel, began to see it as a liability. There were arguments over land rights, noise restrictions, and even corruption. Accusations that money meant for upgrades had vanished into pockets. And yet, the races continued. Fans still came, because the circuit's reputation was irresistible. Every legend has a final act. For this circuit, it came on a stormy weekend in the early 1980s. Rain lashed down as engines screamed into life. Conditions were treacherous, but drivers pressed on. Midway through the event, disaster struck. A massive accident involving multiple cars. The wreckage was cleared, the race eventually resumed, but the scars remained. Officials called it an unfortunate incident. But behind closed doors, pressure mounted. Within weeks, the circuit was quietly removed from the next season's calendar. No farewell, no ceremony, just silence. When fans returned months later, gates were locked. The asphalt cracked. Grass began to creep over curbs. The circuit, once a cathedral, was left to rot. Why did it vanish so suddenly? Theory 1. Safety. The track was simply too dangerous. Fatal crashes, outdated barriers, and narrow escape roads made it impossible to justify in a modernizing sport. Theory 2. Politics. Some say the land was too valuable. Developers and politicians wanted it for factories, housing, or even military projects. Racing was a convenient sacrifice. Theory 3. Corruption. Rumors swirled of embezzled funds, contracts awarded to friends, and a scandal buried by quietly closing the gates. Theory 4. Conspiracy. The wildest stories claim something darker, that the circuit was used for testing experimental vehicles, or that accidents revealed secrets authorities wanted hidden. When the time came, the track wasn't abandoned. It was erased. Today, the circuit lives only in fragments. Satellite images hint at old straights buried under forests. Farmers plow fields where grandstands once stood. Occasionally, explorers find patches of cracked asphalt, weeds bursting through, echoes of engines long gone. For fans, these ruins are sacred. They make pilgrimages to overgrown corners, touching the fading paint as if to connect with ghosts. Online forums trade blurry photos, arguing over whether a curve in the landscape matches the old map. And yet, official records barely acknowledge it. Some archives omit its name entirely. It's as though the circuit never existed, or someone wants it forgotten. But legends don't die easily. The circuit that disappeared became a symbol in car culture. Writers romanticized it in novels. Gamers recreated it in mods and simulations. Fans whispered about it at gatherings, keeping the memory alive. To this day, older mechanics swear they remember the smell of fuel on that track. Retired drivers, when asked, pause just a little too long before answering. Some refuse to speak of it altogether. For younger generations, it's become a myth, a place that may or may not exist, a story told to remind them that motorsport once danced closer to death than it does today. So why does this story matter? Because racing is not just about speed, it's about memory. Circuits are more than asphalt. They are stages where human courage, triumph, and tragedy play out. When a circuit disappears, it's not just a piece of land, it's a piece of identity. And when that identity is erased without explanation, it becomes myth. The legend of the circuit that disappeared reminds us that history isn't always neat. Sometimes the greatest stories are the ones with missing pieces. We chase speed, but we also chase meaning. The vanished circuit teaches us three things. First, danger and glory are inseparable. Without risk, there is no legend. Second, power and politics shape sport as much as talent. Tracks live and die by forces beyond racing. And third, memory is fragile. Without care, even cathedrals of speed can vanish into silence. So what became of the circuit? Was it bulldozed? Was it hidden? Or is it still out there, waiting in the weeds, a ghost of racing's past? No one knows for certain, and maybe that's the point. Because unfinished stories stay with us longer. They leave space for imagination, for debate, for wonder. And perhaps, somewhere under the soil, the echoes of engines still sleep, waiting to be heard again. So tell me, what do you believe? Was the circuit erased by politics, abandoned by negligence, or hidden for reasons we'll never know? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll feature the best theories in the next episode. And if you enjoyed this mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more daily stories where racing meets legend, disaster, and myth. This is Horizon Resonance, and this was the story of the circuit that disappeared.